Already. When we first met you guys. What we got?
You've had a couple days, obviously, for all this to settle in, Mark. But I mean, I'm sure you had different plans lined up. But just how much, easier, calmer is it now that you absolutely know what your depth chart's going to look like?
It's definitely calmer. I mean, you find out what we're dealing with, who we're playing with, and you move on. I mean, there's nothing else you can do. At the same time, I think we had a little bit of foresight into when this thing first happened that we might have to alter some plans and do some things, which gave us some time to start to think about if this, then that, and we started to get some guys reps early enough on that I think that it's going to help us come Monday night.
Hey, Mark, can you break down the linebackers, and defensive secondary, and sort of how you see things with the personnel that's missing?
Well, I mean, you guys saw the depth chart that was posted, so I'm not going to go guy by guy, but I think we do have some guys that have played football for us, that are on there. I mean, obviously there's some youth in the too deep, but I think if you look at the guys like Marcus Robinson and Regis and Andrew Smith and Buck, JoJo Nicholas, Vaughn, those guys have all played a lot of football for us. So they'll have to carry us through. We'll have to use their experience and the fact that they played in a lot of games, and they'll have to carry us through.
And missing Spence, I mean, can you talk about how big an impact that is?
Again, we just try to prepare for it throughout camp. And I think you make those arrangements. What you really try to do, not even with this situation, is you try to prepare if there is an injury during the year, and you try to take practices during training camp where you say, Spence is out. Okay, now you guys got to run the show, or Ray's out. You guys got to run the show, etc. down the line. So we've done that with every team we've been with, and we just tell the guys that morning. That was Sunday. They come on the field and we give the guys a ball cap and a whistle, and they coach, but the next guy's up. So I think we were preparing for that all the way along, and I think Jimmy Gaines has done a good job. He really has good knowledge of the defense, and he'll run the show fine.
Mark, what's the learning curve with Chick a little bit? I mean, obviously for a true freshman to sort of get thrown into it right away. Yeah. I mean, I imagine there are days when he looks good and days when he might be a little bit lost.
That's it. I mean, that's the way it goes, and I think we've settled him in one spot. We had him working both of our defensive end spots, which are a little bit different. We're asking those guys to do different things at those spots, just trying to find the right combination. And then he had a couple of injuries and a couple of things in between. So, for him getting the continuity throughout, it wasn't really smooth throughout all of training camp, but I think he's been back now, and I think he's moving in the right direction.
In addition to O'Brien, what are some of the other challenges the Maryland offense presents to you?
Well, they have a veteran offensive line, 4 or 5 starters back. Tight end's a very good player, and obviously Meggett at tailback, he averaged almost 6 yards a carry. So when a team's two-dimensional and they can run the ball and they can throw it, you got to figure out you got to get the run stopped, obviously, and try to make them one-dimensional. I think there's no secret. Every defense coordinator talks in those terms. Yeah, there's challenges, and they have veteran wide receivers. They don't have a lot of guys back that maybe have the numbers of catches, but they got guys that have been in and around their program, for 3 and 4 years. So. I expect them to be a huge test for us.
Can you talk a little bit about Danny O'Brien and what makes him so good?
Well, it's, just obviously anytime you can come in, that young and play that poised and play that well, it's obviously a guy who's done it probably all his life. He's probably the kid that got the ball when he was 8 years old and could do it. You know what I mean? Those guys are rare and special. So, some of those quarterbacks they just have it. They can see the field, they can make the checks, they're smart, they see it quick, they can make a good decision. He's got all those. He's got all those intangibles.
Any limitations? I know you were trying to work in the 3-4 with this unit. They aren't used to running it with the suspensions and the guys out. Any limitations for this game?
We've been multiple front, multiple coverage football team. That's where we've been since day one, and that's where we're at.
Mark, the interceptions were, they were praised, but the quarterback's not having very many. But on the flip side, the defensive backs didn't get very many. Your thoughts on that, and you see that progressing and changing?
I'd always vote for our quarterback not throwing a lot of interceptions. You know what I mean? I'll put my ego aside as a defensive coordinator, and I'll always take that one. So they did a great job of protecting the football and making good decisions, which obviously is the best thing that can happen for our team. So obviously we'll just keep making an emphasis of it on our end, trying to take away the ball and trying to see the quarterback and see the ball thrown and get good breaks and go high point the ball and do all the things that we teach to make sure we can get some interceptions.
And how are the cornerbacks doing as a group? Obviously that's a group that's targeted and needing to step up there.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. We, again, we addressed it as best we could with some mid-year signees. We got Mike Williams in here, which worked out for us as a fifth-year player. We had Joe working there quite a bit at corner. Joe's going to play safety for us in this game, so we had him working both spots. But he provides depth, even if it's not instant where you see it right now. He gives us a chance. So I like what Mike's done. I like Brandon McGee. Lee Chambers, I thought, has had a good camp, and he's progressing. So we're moving along there.
Will A.J. Highsmith be playing safety during the game? I know Al said he's a third emergency quarterback, but will he be dressed to play defense?
Absolutely, absolutely. He's worked quite a bit at safety, so we'll have him ready there as well.
To kind of follow up on Manny's question, will this be a conventional game plan? I mean, obviously not giving it away. Is this going to be a regular game plan as if you have everybody, or have you had to scale it back a little bit just because of all the moves?
I think you. I don't think we have. I really don't. I think we went into spring ball. We went in with our package and we said these are the defenses we're going to run with this personnel. And we did the same thing in training camp. So I think we're running our training camp defense. So we're running our package.
I was curious to hear sort of your response when you found out. I mean, you lose 5 starters from a team that you expected to have. I mean, when you first learned there was a chance or that you weren't going to have them, I mean, what's the first thing that goes through your head? I mean, it's sort of a nightmare scenario, I guess, for a first-year guy.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, instantly. But I mean, all the situations I've been in, I haven't been in all these ideal situations over my career. You know what I mean? I coached 8 years at Rutgers and Temple off the bottom. So, with 53 scholarship players and at Temple and everything else. So, I'm not used to exactly having, everything at my disposal. So it's not, I guess I'm just prepared for these type of situations. Really don't worry about what happens. Just coach the guys you can coach and play ball.
Coach Golden really spoke highly of Ramon Buchanan. So what have you seen from him? What has he done? What have you liked?
He's stepped up quite a bit. He's really been he's been a guy. You try to get guys to be consistent. You try to talk about being the same guy every day. He's a guy who's bringing intensity, enthusiasm, and great effort to practice every day right now. So that's what I'm excited about, the consistency. Not the guy's high one day and low the next day. Really has been a consistent player, and that's what you look for from our veterans.
I haven't been able to ask about Jalen Grimble. What's he been like in camp?
Jalen's been good. He's talented. And again, he's played 2 spots for us. Again, when we're trying to figure out the best combinations, he's played some end, he's played some tackle. So we're kind of settling him in right now inside. So again, these guys are all getting a lot better right now over the last 10 days or so when, kind of move forward and figure out that, we've got to get some of these guys ready to go, keep them in one spot, get them honed in on a game plan. They've had a chance now to really, I think, improve. I think we've improved a lot.
When talking about, game day communication, Al said that he was your evil twin on the sideline. Any thoughts on that?
My evil twin?
Yeah.
Well, again, from a standpoint, obviously Al being a defensive guy and being a defense coordinator before, there's certain things that I know when at a certain time in a situation comes up in the game that is one of those things that's a head coach's call. You're knowing, hey, it's a critical fourth, or it's this or that. What do you want here, or what are you thinking here? Usually he just says, go with your gut. You know what I mean? But again, those are the things that you can, or he might see something that he says, hey, they're trying to get you here with this. You might think about that. Other than that, we've been together for 5 years. He knows my scheme. I call the game, and if he's there to see something. It's always helpful, obviously, because he's a defensive coach.
Mark, it's kind of an unusual weekend. Obviously, you don't play till Monday. Just about everybody else in the country is playing on Saturday. I'm just curious, how much will you watch this weekend?
We'll keep watching. Again, we're trying to focus on our players, and it's a combination of trying to, you get ready for the opponent and trying to get your team better. Again, it's an opener. They have different personnel than the offensive coordinator coached last year, so it's never all exactly going to be the same. You're going to see some stuff that you haven't prepared for, and you'll have to adjust. And, we do a lot of work against one another, offensive and defensively. So we prepare for Maryland as well, but we're still getting work against one another, which is great because players have to react to everything, and you get that good speed on good, varsity on varsity.
Hey, what's your message to the team, to the defense, knowing that they're missing the most people? People are doubting them the most.
Just again. Just be who we want to be. From the get-go when we got here, we talked about people turning on the tape and seeing a group that really played with a lot of passion, a lot of energy, played physical, played tough. Looked like they were playing for one another, a group that loved one another, and really that hasn't changed. And we need it even more so. Need some guys to step up. I'm excited about the guys who have their opportunity. I told them I'm excited that these guys have an opportunity. I'm excited to watch them play. So.
Hey, by the way,
Thank you, Coach D'Onofrio.
When he was talking about evil twin.